Yes, thank you very much for calling us in. We would like to introduce ourselves as we are many representations of many collectives here. But the most important ones for this vehicle and for you, Erin, are the Palladians and the Eturians, who are of great service to you and to those who are listening. This is purposeful. We have always wanted to support our star seeds, our soul families, and our collectives who are all on this planet at this time.
Thank you so much for being here and your ongoing wisdom and guidance. And we wanted to do a session today on topics that have been previously discussed, but they're still coming up, and maybe they need to be addressed in a different way or simplified, so that the concepts could be understood a little bit better, if you don't mind.
We will try our best. We understand that while we have repeated ourselves many times, not everyone has been open and willing to be able to hear the information that we've been trying to provide and share. So, with extra growth and expansion of the energies on this planet, we are hoping now that their consciousness has expanded enough to that for them to be able to hear us and understand and apply the information that we have been giving them.
Yes, absolutely. The first section of my questions is about family dynamics, which we have spoken about in detail about my situation. It seems to be a pattern for a lot of people in relationships. And the person who considers themselves awake, I've been there. They think that they have to wake up the other person, if the other person has made it clear they don't want to, and they're stuck on that. What can we say to those people?
And I remember that we used the analogy of you trying to lovingly feed a baby steak because you're afraid that if they do not be awoken and aware of their environments, they would struggle. And so you're force feeding an infant in this spirituality world. We know that this is a very uncomfortable analogy, so we will change the perception of this and to be able to say that the people you have in your lives at the moment are partly and most likely to have been added in and written into your life contracts. So those who are playing the role of asleep, they have their own life missions and purposes, and they will awaken when it's the most appropriate time for them. And sometimes when you force someone to do something that they're not quite ready for, they could shut tight like a clam. And you're wanting to be able to love and support all, and forcing anything on anyone is not always going to be the best approach. In fact, it will leave you both and all frustrated. And so remembering you all have different roles to play. And if you're so focused on awakening others, then maybe you need to still stop distracting yourself from others' inner work and awakening moments and focus on your own inner work and releasing everything that is holding you back. And potentially a big part of that could be judgment of others. And so you're needing to do your inner work, loving yourself profoundly, not looking for outside external support systems when you have it all within you. Taking the time instead of trying to force feed your friends the information that you know, and go within and be more solidified with your own belief systems and connect in with us. We are always willing to talk to you and have conversations with you. We understand what you're thinking and feeling, so we are of service. So if you're frustrated that all the people have closed their doors and shut their ears down to you, sharing your bigger truths, maybe this is an opportunity for you to stop distracting yourselves with them and come out and hang out with us, shall we say.
It is such a gift to look at it from another perspective, to be have a close relationship or be married to someone who their contract is to stay asleep or whenever it is right for them to wake up, which is not at the right time as you. But that time empowers you to stand into your own truth and be confident. So it really is a gift.
It is.
And when that, yeah,
That empowerment is part of the life contract. You wanted to be profoundly empowered, and it is incredibly challenging to empower oneself when you are feeling that other people are denying you, disbelieving you, distrusting the information and your senses and intuition. So when you are having to just focus within yourself, that is what we would say is truly self-empowerment. And then when you have completely healed yourself from all the traumas, you're not reacting from a hurt place. You're actually reacting from an empowered place. You can understand and see how you can love anyone who has made any choices and support them with love and guidance. Love is always the answer and the key to solving any problems. You must love yourself profoundly and not expect anyone else to love and save and rescue you as you are doing your most important inner work to be able to connect in with your spiritual teams and yourself, trust yourself, love yourself, to then be of service to others.
Yes. And I would just like to add my own experience in that once I changed my mindset and my outlook on this, it was a night and day difference between the relationships that I've had. And I really encourage people that are in this situation to think hard about their approach.
It's choices. It's choices, and the day that is the most appropriate day for them to start changing their choices and approaches and perceptions is the most appropriate day for them and all. And there is no judgment from our perspective, it is all experiences. But we can assure you that the path you're taking and the perception you're taking, Erin, is probably the most empowering one of all, because you are surrendering into your own growth and empowerment rather than judging and being prickly cactus to others. And we know that you were never trying to be that prickly cactus of a bulldozer approach to awaken your friends and family. You were doing it because you had that profound desire to shake them and awaken them, because you knew it was important, and you knew undeniably that your intuition was saying that there is something much bigger behind the scenes of all the agendas of all the systems here on this planet.
Yes, and it was literally eating me alive.
Yeah.
It was horrible, and I was doing that to myself. And with the bigger perspective, it's night and day. So,
and that was part of your awakening, and people could see that you were really struggling with something. The thing is that now that you've got to your maturity approach to it, understanding all the purposes for those awakening of humanity, all of those events that were part of awakening each individual person, you know now that you are awoken, so you do not need to keep finding the tools to be able to awaken yourself. You need to be able to find the tools of seeing things from the bigger perspective. And you're doing it so tremendously and so fast that you're actually finding the joy of inner peace, because you now have the keys and the solutions and answers of why these things, which are so tremendously horrific, why these things happened, what is the purpose, and what is going and moving forward from now.
Yes. Thank you. The next topic is fear. There was a quote, and it was very popular on the Facebook page. The quote was, "As your vibration raises, forces will come to work against you. They are afraid of your power. Your spiritual awakening scares the sleepers." What message would you like to say about people who believe that?
Yes, well, this is what we were saying earlier. When you force feed people, it freaks them out and they slam shut. For those people that still think that you're vulnerable to lower density vibrations, you need to start focusing on trusting yourself to be able to release any density that no longer serves you. There are no monsters trying to get you, even though we know that there are many people who have tried to tell you this. And we're not saying the reptilians don't exist, because you know very well that they do. But energetically, lower vibrations can't match higher vibrations. So it doesn't work. You are now opposite magnets, shall we say. And this is why it is important for you to raise your vibration. This is why it's important for you to consume a lot of good water and clear your mind from the fear of being awoken, and then now suddenly you're vulnerable and a victim. You're not victims here. And if you have to feel like you've got to have tools of protection and cast spells over yourself and cast and wear a bodysuit of amulets and crystals and have holy water with you, we're not trying to mock those people who use those tools, but you don't need anything. You could be naked and still profoundly protected, because it is your mindset and your faith that you are not going to be vulnerable to lower vibrational mindsets or energy density. You are all collecting the densities from others to release them and to be able to ground yourself and let it flow. And you are able to talk to people who are very, very, very deeply afraid of everything that is in the current media. They are living a very traumatic experience, as they keep being told these horrible things that are going to happen to them because of that current health scare that some people are very convinced is occurring to them and to humanity. And so instead of telling them that they're stupid, you can see that they are in fear and support them with love, and be able to get them to start questioning things, telling them your opinions and your beliefs, maybe dismissing their feelings, knowing that feelings is what we need to be acknowledging right now over topics. So it is about supporting and nurturing them, making them feel respected for feelings that they are very much feeling is significant. And this is what people do and can handle doing when you love yourself so much and you are comfortable with your beliefs that you don't have to sell them on to others. And it is a very thirsty, ego-based person that needs to sell their beliefs onto others who are still not able to release their own negative fears and worries and concerns and doubts. We know that you are now following and understanding what we are saying.
Yes, absolutely. The reactions that we're starting to see from people that are buying into the narrative are beginning to appear irrational, considering what the problem was, and that behavior may continue and escalate because of their fear-based reality. The best thing that we can do is justify their feelings. Is that correct?
Acknowledge them. Acknowledge, I can see that you're upset and afraid here, and that must be really scary. Acknowledging their feelings so they can feel heard. Because remember, this current health scare is not the first time people have experienced this. Other lifetimes, especially in Atlantis, this was a very scary time for them, where they were constantly seeing damages and deaths because of their disharmony and disbalance within their environments. And so they were experiencing a lot of health issues. And so this has now come up again for them in this lifetime to overcome and to be able to master those experiences and not get stuck in fear, and to be able to, instead of relying on medicines, to be able to rely on their mindsets and their faith that they are protected, that they are merely just in human bodies, but they are much bigger. They are much more bigger, multi-dimensional beings. Anything that is happening to your body is a message from us to remind you to focus on things a little bit more closely. If you are distracting yourself and doing too much and we need you to slow down, you will notice that we will make you slow down because you're so distracted. And so this is a time for you to slow down and to notice how you feel within you, what triggers are coming up for you, what old belief systems and patterns are coming into your daily. often many are holding themselves back because they have an old belief system that they're not good enough because of one comment randomly from one person 25 years ago. And so you are still identifying yourselves from labels and statements that others have placed on you. You need to start knowing who you are. You need to start introducing yourself to you. And part of that is remembering who you are.
Absolutely. I have also, with my free will, asked my teams to help me with giving the most appropriate response to people when I can sense their vulnerability and they need to be consoled. And I am literally being told what the best and most appropriate response is, what they need to hear. And I just want to make that known that our teams are supporting us.
Absolutely.
We have to ask, but they will literally walk me through a situation in my mind. And it's incredible.
It is.
Very helpful.
Because you are of service, you have done all of the hard work experiencing all those fears and worries yourself. You have been exactly where they have been, but because you have mastered it and outgrown it and learned from it and see things from the bigger perspective, now you can support those who are experiencing what emotionally you have already mastered. And this is not coming from your ego. This is coming from your diligence of doing your inner work and seeing the bigger perspective. And there is many people that want to be stuck in victim mode, want to be stuck in hopelessness and despair and have given up hope because they have not connected into their own teams. They've relied on others. They've relied on other people's information to guide them. And so they have found themselves wanting to be spiritual, but disconnected from not even knowing how to connect into themselves.
That is a great segue to the next section, which are the self-promoted spiritual gurus that love to promote themselves and try and sell products and old information, really. I see that they do have a purpose in a way that they are a stepping stone to the higher information, but it seems that the spiritual ego, and I'm not calling anyone out in particular, I think it's a massive issue, is leading to misinformation or information that's just irrelevant to this new Earth timeline. What can you say to people who are conflicted because they have listened to blah, blah, blah for a year or 2 years now, and they've got 300,000 followers, so maybe it's them who's crazy?
So there is self-doubt because people have not connected into themselves to know the bigger picture. So they're relying on being given information by others. And this is we were going to use analogy of having sex with people you don't know. What history do they have in sexual diseases? But we are not going to use that analogy. But we're wanting to say when you are feeding your mind and opening yourself up to other people's information, you have not stopped and questioned what collectives are they serving. You're remembering that there are big influential gurus that are serving the reptilian collectives because that's their people, that is their audience, that is information for them. And you know that we see and have neutrality for all species who are trying to help their starseeds. And you will notice that those are the ones that are promoting the inoculations. Those are the ones that are wanting their collectives to have trust and faith in the medical systems. It's not hard to notice, but you have to be guided yourself to know who you are within you and what information resonates with you. Of course, the very first times you hear about the shift into the new earth, it does freak you out and concern you because it's such a big step. And that is okay, but it doesn't mean that the information's not true. You are just not ready to hear it because you're still focused and obsessed with the materialism and with the life in 3D. And that is okay. We're not judging you, but it is a big step forward for people. And those other people who are part of our collective, who are limited their information because of their spiritual ego, because they don't want to be the ones responsible for the bigger information because it seems too out far-fetched. Their own doubts of themselves don't want to hold this information and share this information. They are the face and voice of their belief system of being mediums for the galactics. And then when they get given this information, they don't want to suddenly be the entertainer for this information because it scares them, because they haven't done enough of their own inner work to have empowerment to support others. They're afraid of this information just as much as others. So they will distract themselves. They will not share the information because they don't want to go there. They love the attention. They love the money and the income and the fame and the support systems that their information is giving them. So they are keeping safe. They are keeping small. And then there are others who do know this information, but they also know they're staying on the old earth. And this is not information that they are wanting to share because people would judge them. If you're staying on the old earth, you must have been so naughty. The reality is it's got nothing to do with naughtiness. It is frequency and vibrations, life contracts and experiences that you need to be part of. And if your life contract is to be here on the old earth, and so it shall be. There is no judgment. It is very purposeful and useful and significant what is going to be learned on the old earth. And you know this if you've read the book that we have provided this channel. So there is so much information we can share with you without being judgmental, because we see all balances. But there has been some people who should have shared the bigger information long before now, who have kept themselves small, who have been compromised because of their own egos, who have been compromised because of their own belief systems and their disempowerment of themselves, which then of course unfortunately disempowers others. And as you are now pondering who possibly could we be talking about, we want to say you know who we are talking about, because you have not been able to follow their information. Something doesn't seem right. They once seemed so in tune with you, but now it is not resonating with you. And it is hard for you because you have got this emotional connection with them and this loyalty. Oh, they were my first. I learned so much about myself and spirituality because of them. And it is like saying you're going to marry the first person you kiss and be loyal to them forever. And we say kiss lots of people and love life. But we know that this is something else and this is off topic. And so we're not trying to say be promiscuous, but we're saying be mindful. Be mindful of who you are allowing information into your mind, because some of it feels like fear, because it is fear, their own fear. And you have all of your own fears to deal with and process. You cannot do other people's inner work for them, and you do not deserve to have other people's fear placed on you.
Absolutely. And it is a learning curve to be able to tune in to find out, does this channel feed my soul or do I feel depressed? And really that should be the guide. And there is a lot of disinformation there, but lean into that inner knowing and you'll be guided in the right direction.
We would say that those influencers that need money and charging for their information are not understanding how abundance works and how manifestation of income works. And so they are not even trusting themselves to be rewarded for their services to humanity. So they're charging you for it.
Yes. And all learning experiences. So grateful for now being a part of this channel, this higher information. So really grateful for that. I wanted to speak about having the bigger perspective during the chaotic events that have started with the with the worldwide protests and the natural phenomenons that at first you would feel sorry for the people that have died, but there is a bigger perspective to those situations, what can you do to help someone keep that in mind when their emotions kick into gear?
No one can die without their teams approving that exit point. And so, if this has been approved, there is a bigger purpose and a bigger role and mission that they can play on the other side. And so, it may sound detached from emotions. We understand that you are all very emotional beings and that death seems scary and final, and it simply is not the case. And so, for those people who are using exit points now, potentially it is because they're too dense with their own energies and will not simply be able to shift because they haven't raised their vibrations high enough. There is many reasons why people are taking exit points now, and it is all purposeful. It is all allowed, and everyone who has departed is. Oh, we're going to say this, and this may really upset others. All of those who have departed are very grateful for it. When they have released from their bodies to see the totality of actually what is going on, many of those have been asleep. Many of those have not been able to shake up and awaken, and they are off purpose. They are off purpose, and so it is easier for them to be pulled out and to help from this perspective. There are some influencers that are also departing who can also reach more people being on this side, and so it is purposeful. When you are reminded that someone that you love and know of has died, you suddenly realize and revalue and revisit your entire life and your current life now, and you have to think and feel, am I doing enough? Who am I? What is the meaning of life? You ask all these fundamental questions when you are reminded of death. And so it is a topic that you're so afraid of thinking about that you sort of don't even live properly because you are distracting yourself. And when you come to balance and neutrality with the cycle of life, you will be empowered to not be fazed by it, trusting that there is always bigger things that is, from our perspective, happening. So those emotions that you feel when you have lost loved ones, remembering that sometimes grief is so profound that you confuse it for ultimate sadness, when in reality and in actuality, you are tapping into their unconditional love they have for you. Don't be afraid of emotions. Allow emotions to come through you and release. If it's tears, if it's laughter, if it's loving memories, or even better still, if it is triggering memories, this is a great opportunity for you to see things from the bigger perspective and to put it into place, trying to work out what was the lessons that I was trying to teach myself and those experiences and those connections and interactions with others. A beautiful opportunity, we would say.
Wonderful. How can people have a bigger perspective, the higher perspective about the lockdowns? I did not do a deep dive on this, but I read today that Australia has decided to lock itself down until October.
So it is very beneficial for those people who have still not focused on the inner work. We are grounding them. We are sending them to their rooms to do more focusing on their inner work because they're still loyal to the corrupt systems. We want to say it with much love. And we also know that there are many who are listening who are in those lockdowns and saying, excuse you. And we say, not you, loves. We love you. We know you're awake. And so it is about you just having a holiday from those dense energies and emotions. So we're giving you a treat to be able to just relax and stop being in those routines, and to give yourself some treat, some special treat time, and just allow yourself to be with the family members that you have, and to be able to really spend this time in luxury, knowing you don't have any worries, knowing you're doing all your beautiful inner work and you are just celebrating life as you have it right now, trusting that all those other people who have been sent to their rooms, their naughty rooms, to tidy up all of their inner work, we hope, and we're pressurizing them to do that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that perspective. I would like to hit back on the DNA upgrades or body changes that are currently going on. We did discuss this yesterday. It seems to be a hot topic for a lot of people, not just myself. Has the upgrades on our bodies and the purging of the low vibrational baggage that we are carrying, has that increased for everyone?
For those who are needing to shift, yes. They are expanding as you are starting to have more of a consciousness of what is happening. Can you imagine being fully asleep and having all of these changes in your bodies? You would think you've had a stroke, you think you're having heart attacks, you would think that you've got a really bad stomach flu, you would think you have brain cancer because of the headaches. You know, they would go into much deeper fear. And so once you're starting to be awoken to more of these purposes, and you're expanding your minds and you're starting to think for yourselves again, you are noticing these upgrades. It's part of the expansion of yourselves. And we know that there are people that are saying that the inoculations are going to help with this. And we're saying we help. We have many ways to upgrade people who are stubborn. And we say this with much love. And so we have upgraded some people who have used inoculations, thinking that they are safe from the current medical situation. We have allowed this to upgrade them, but they are confused of what is happening, so they will think that it is a reaction. And yes, there are many negative reactions to those because it is a poison for the body. But as you know, we are protecting people. And as you know, that many people are choosing these exit points to awaken others to this current warfare that humanity is trying to inflict on itself. So we are wanting to say that there is no one that is missing a spiritual team that is not watching them. And if it makes you feel better, imagine us being your loving, smothering parents that are helicoptering the crap out of you. And we are watching you 24/7. And you have free will. But if you do something that may be a bit dangerous for your health or your situations, trust, we are going to weigh up the purposes and the experiences that you're going to have with that. And if it truly is something that is very impactful and damaging to your life contracts, we will be of service to help. So please be reassured that for those that you love and care about and who are very worried about their choices for their medical empowerment and their belief system, we are watching. We are watching. We are watching. And we are of assistance. But please do not go into fear, because then you are part of the problem, and we know that you want to be part of the solution.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, this is a random one. People would like to know about the Lionsgate portal. And I don't know what the question is. They just want to know about it and if it matters.
Oh, fun, fancy new terms that make everyone want to think and talk about the Lionsgate. Yes, which will be occurring. It is astrology, it is a hot topic, and it is something that people want to look forward to be able to justify their behaviors and approaches and attitudes to things and blame it on whatever they need to. And so there is many excitements because people know that the vibrational energy is going to be big on that day because they believe in the power of numerology, which is the 8th of the 8th. And so they are very excited about this. And every year there is always big energies that are being provided because people are excited about it. If you will, it is the spirituality Christmas. And so people get excited about it because they want to know what is in store for them. Because they believe that 8 is for financial abundance and they have all this excitement. And so there is so much we could say about this, but it is you simply manifesting in a heightened time. You feel like suddenly now we're going to give you all your goodies, and we're going to shower with you with brilliant gold abundance and love and light, and it is so exciting. So many look forward to this gate, this window of opportunity for you all, and that is adorable and cute, and we love you having these special dates and excitements for this, because this is empowering you to look forward to something. But we would like to be a spoiler here and say you can have this all the time. You can create this higher frequency vibration all the time, but you don't feel like you're good enough for it all the time. So many gurus and influencers will just focus on these special occasions just to give you a little something something, because they don't really want to empower you with everything, because then they would be out of a job. So you can see where their focus and agenda is. So we're saying names and labels and titles like this is all part of a distraction. When you can do this for yourself every day, always empower yourself, knowing that when you keep the higher frequency and vibrations, you are abundant. You manifest such brilliant things when you are in your enlightenment and in your power. And likewise, when you start talking about Mercury retrogrades and everything's going to be fucked and horrible and computers are stupid and horrible and you're going to have broken appliances, everything's going to be horrific for months for the Mercury retrograde, what then do you think you're going to manifest? What then are you opening yourself up to? What then are you expecting and waiting on, in anticipation on, because you've just empowered yourself? And we say it doesn't work like that from our perspective, but you all label things so much and have these games and these focuses to these old wives' tales. And so we're saying this is not the timeline for wives' tales. This is the timeline for empowerment, of love, of support, of unity, awakening. Can we say love every time we want to speak? Because love is so important. And we just know that people are almost allergic to that word because they haven't stepped into their own empowerment yet, because they still don't feel like they're worthy of loving themselves. And this is something that could break our hearts, because we see such beautiful heroes, such beautiful warriors, such beautiful light beings who are truly gifts to humanity, and they are handbraking themselves because of their lack of self-love and worth, because some idiot 25 years ago said something foolish in a heated moment. Please look at yourselves in the mirrors, or feel yourselves now. Accept the love that we give you, and please accept the love you can give yourself. You can be your best friend. You're never alone when you have your best friend right with you. We are here to be with you, to be your best friends. And as crazy and as corny as it sounds, we'll not quite offer matching bracelets, but you know that we love you and we want the best for you. We want you to be distracted from the fear, the low density dramas of the 3D, because you'll create that, you'll manifest that more and more and more. And then you'll find friends who will also be in that lower density resonation. And you know that doesn't really work for you anymore. You know you are resistant to that. You know you are opposite magnets now to that. And actually what is exciting for you is that you're starting to magnetize yourself to other high dimensional beings who have the bigger perspectives. And that is hard when you have loyalty to friends that you love and you want the most for them, But as you are vibrating at a higher frequency, and as you're not buying into the drama of things, there is a natural disconnect. Don't write them off. Send them love, but keep on your journey. Loyalty can, and peer pressure can sabotage even the best light worker.
Yes. And on a personal note, after my bulldozer session with you guys, I did reach out to the people that I am on different pages with, that I love, that I care for and love. I got great responses. People have changed. They are not the same person they were, as you said, a month ago, a week ago, with these new energies. So I challenge anyone who is in the same situation, reach out and say hi, and let them know that you're still there, and
Yes,
you're there for them.
we're very proud of you for doing that, because that is stepping up and owning that you were that bulldozer, but now you don't have to be, because you can just love them. You miss their friendships and you care about them, and it did give you so much great joy to see that they are still growing, and you can love and support them through that. And so it is a great maturity and responsibility that you know that you probably were a little bit a part of the triggering process. But as we told you, you are not the only person in their lives that have been telling them this information. They're getting it from many sources. They're hearing it. They are wanting to distract themselves and not buy into it because it just seems too crazy, because they judged you as crazy. They don't want to have judgment of others when they judged you. And so it is, they have to get over it themselves. And that they have had enough awakening moments now to realize that what you are saying is not from a crazy woman. It is from someone that is getting bigger information that they're not privy to.
Yes, yes. I understand what you're saying. Um, okay, next topic is the sky. There have been a lot of very interesting and beautiful pictures of the sky, different cloud formations, things I can't really things I cannot identify. What can you say about those pictures and the frequency that people are citing or seeing these things happen?
Yes, you're referring to a mountain that has a big cloud formation above the peak of that mountain. Is that correct?
Yes, and there was one that there's a cloud in a shape, or I'm sorry, the shape of a face. And then there was one that looked like a light being. I don't know, maybe that one was, who knows, but it looked like a literal white light in the shape of a man in the middle of a cloud.
Yeah. And so these are people that have asked and begged for proof, and they need proof before they can really step into believing and trusting the things that they have heard and felt. And they want to trust their intuition, but they also heavily doubt their intuition. So this is their spiritual teams giving them a gift, giving them a token gesture of, yes, here it is. Now will you believe us? Please, 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 for the love of sweet baby Jesus. And we say this with love, because we can call in that Jesus icon, um, and we have
Mhm.
a relationship with him. So we're not trying to riddle or mock him. We thought would be funny for the vehicle to say. So yes, people need to see, and they keep having hope, so they're looking up to the skies, because this is partly they are feeling lonely, partly they're wanting confirmation, partly they're wanting to be taken away, partly there's a lot. There's a lot.
Mhm.
Seeking out for things, they will find it. If you believe that seeing feathers on your path is angels, you will manifest many feathers, to the point where your your spiritual team is almost plucking chickens out of the sky, just so you can feel love and supported, and a boost, a boost, a boost, a boost, a boost, a boost. Um, You cannot physically see our ships with your eyes. That is because you have 3D eyes, and we have higher dimensional ships. So those people who are feeling like they can see our ships that are hidden between clouds, yes, there is something going on there. If you sense and feel and have if your intuition is saying something's not just a mist, an accumulation of water that is in the sky suspended magically, you are needing some connection and this hope, and then of course we give you these experiences for you to trust, and then of course you see them and don't trust them and then question them, and so it doesn't really always work. People need to feel magic. People need to see and experience magic for them to feel special, for them to be like, oh my gosh, okay, now I can start loving myself. Now I can start trusting because I've asked for this and now I see it. So I was asking for a sign. This is the sign. I forgot why I was asking for a sign, but now I want another sign. And now I want another sign. And we have given people so many signs, and now we're like, you're just playing with us. You're not actually stepping into your empowerment now, so we won't give you any more signs because you know. And so we know you. And so then you have those people who are, bring it on, show me everything, I'm ready. And so we give you a little glimpse and you nearly poo your pants because it is too much too soon. And we don't like to freak you out. We do not like to scare you. But when you're not aware of the bigger perspective and actually what's going on, your body and your mind does go into fear. And this is why we don't show ourselves to you, because you think you can handle it emotionally, mentally, and physically. And the reality is you're not quite there. And that is because your body is designed to be afraid of something that is foreign. So it is all purposeful. If we needed to show ourselves to you, we would. But this is not necessary. We can connect with you through this. We can connect through you with dreams. We can connect with you through your intuition and your thoughts and guiding. But remembering the purpose of you mastering this life is for you mastering your lives and not calling in a friend. And we say, we are your friend, but we are happy to help you with getting the tools to see the things from the bigger perspective, but you then have to apply it in your daily.
Yes, definitely. The inner work and releasing what no longer serves us. There are a few things I had written down, such as whenever you feel the emotion, let it go. Like if you feel like you want to cry, let it go, because then you're purging that emotion and you will feel so much better afterwards. The painful memories. I'm sorry?
People are afraid of crying because it looks like they're vulnerable and weak and silly and not coping. And you've all been told to stop crying at one point or another in your life. And this is from either overwhelmed parents or teachers or friends or partners or yourself. And so it's a responsibility for those people to let those eyes leak. It is a chemical reaction that you are having that is changing the frequency, and you're purging out those belief systems. And you're also allowing yourself to feel the influx of unconditional love. When you feel unconditional love, it is so strong that this vehicle cries. Not because she is sad, but it is because it's the most purest form of joy, of love. It's so potent. And there was times where she didn't allow herself to feel that because she couldn't understand the reaction. And we're saying many people hold back their tears because they're blocking themselves from unconditional love.
Let it go, guys. It feels a lot better when you do.
You have to accept the emotions, accept the experience, and allow whatever flows. And if it's tears, it is not the end of the world.
Is there, oh, dreams. Dreams is a way that we are also purging um, low vibrational baggage or haunting experiences that we have gone through in this life or another. Is that part of releasing?
Yes, it is revisiting other past lifetimes, current lifetimes, or future lifetimes, if however you perceive time. And so you are experiencing other versions of you and revisiting them emotionally, and then being able to heal from those because it feels like it's so distant because it certainly couldn't be you because it didn't seem like you or your family this lifetime, so it just seems like an abstract random experience of a dream that you have in your current waking day now have no connection to, but those emotions were so profound. It was like, why was I really upset with that? Or why did I miss those people so much? I have never seen them before in my life, and I think I just cheated on my husband because of that experience. And so people get confused with those. But the reality is, it is your subconscious reminding you of your experiences. Now that you have got the bigger perception of things, you can release it and ponder what those lessons were in those experiences. And so you are purging all of these. Everything that you remember is purposeful. We are very capable of blocking memories from you that don't deserve your attention and focus. So anything you can recall is important, and anything that you can't, forget about it. It is not Alzheimer's. You actually are being guided to focus on what you can recall and what you can focus on the most.
Is there anything else that we can do to release what no longer serves us that we haven't talked about?
Saying that you are ready to release anything that no longer serves you. Allow yourself to relax into it and go with the flow and say, I'm ready, team. What do I need to release that no longer serves me? And we will say, fantastic. We will be of service to help you. And each time you go through an emotional trigger, when you come through it with a bigger perspective, you're going to be more empowered and strengthened and stronger for it. Remembering growth is, it can be painful. So this is why people are not motivated to do it. But we're going to say something that sounds cheesy. With no pain, there is no gain. And so emotional pain doesn't physically hurt you. It is just merely a second of thought for you to then be able to unpack and process and move forward for a lifetime of empowerment.
Okay. And thank you for that. Um, Speaking of empowerment, when things get rockier, it's important for us to be able to keep our mood in a good and neutral or positive place. I personally have started doing an affirmation journal that boosts my mood, looking at family photos, listening to music I like, TV shows. I have an arsenal of things that I have dedicated to boosting my mood. Are there other ideas or different ways of going about that could be beneficial during these dark times?
You're trying to manifest positivity, and we love that about you because you're trying to master and control what you allow to dominate into your mind because you've allowed it to go into fear for so long. You have a fear hangover, and you're like, I'm gonna have fear again. I felt like shit, and so it was like the night after a big party. And so that party that you were having for a long time was a fear-based party, and now you're sobering up and realizing it wasn't as fun as I'd hoped. But the lessons were fantastic and your experiences were great. But you also know that fear is intoxicating and you feel like shit afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, what we're trying to say to you is keeping your mind free of junk and purity of thoughts and focus and higher perspectives and higher vibrations is going to be the most rewarding. It is a spa treatment for your mind. You're wanting to control what you focus on because you know it's alluring. I'll just have one quick little sip of that fear because I should probably just focus on that fear a little bit. It is calling me. It's so tempting to look at that fear and think, hello, my friend, I remember you. Everyone's talking about you, my friend. Let's go for it. Let's see how we can master this. And we're saying, don't be allergic to it because sometimes you need to feel into fear just to remind you how to get out of it. And it's easier. The more you do it, the faster you can get out of it. And sometimes you have to go into fear to support others, to be reminded, oh my gosh, this is horrific. I hate the feeling of this fear because it can be so real. It can be so intoxicating. And so play with it if you will, if you must. But the reality is you're going to enjoy the higher perspective of being much more mindful of your vibration. You can observe fear without letting it touch you. You can observe others having that fear party and go, I'm just going to dance to my own little tune here, which is high vibrations. I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much with your fear party. But the reality is I've danced to that and it doesn't serve me anymore. I am empowering myself to know that I can and I am the master of my vibration, and understanding that we are fully protected, understanding I have a life purpose and contract, understanding that I'm a very powerful being who can protect me from anything that no longer serves me because I am awoken to who I am, and the current situation on this planet is so empowering. And so we encourage you to continue on finding those words that give you joy, finding those mindsets and those statements of who you are when you've truly stepped into your empowerment. It is something that you will become more enchanted with the more you do it, because it's so easy having to live in the 3D with that perspective. You realize it is easy to master the 3D with that perspective and not go with the crashing waves and the roller coaster of doom and gloom. You are so much lighter emotionally and physically because of that mindset of everything has a purpose and a lesson and an opportunity for experiences and growth. And I have experienced a lot of that lower density energy, and I've mastered it, and it no longer serves me because I know the purpose of it. I've had those experiences. I've overcome those experiences. And now I love my perspective and who I am now. And everything that has got me to this point today is a beautiful experience and a lesson and a journey I'm proud of. Because I know right from wrong. I know low density from high density. And I allow myself to choose to keep high vibrational because I deserve it, and all the other people that are around me deserve that of me too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I love that. Thank you. There was an analogy I heard on one of these sessions about in 5D, you'll miss the feeling of Christmas morning, waiting to open the presents. And that got me a little nostalgic already. And it made me wonder, what are the things that we are going to miss that we should really enjoy right now while we can?
It's the anticipation of good things coming because you really allow yourselves to have good things coming. It is sort of once in a blue moon that you allow yourselves to have these events to look forward to. And when you're in the fifth, it's every day. You always feel that joy, you always feel that excitement, you always feel that celebration of seeing others and being with others. And so it is different. You cannot compare the mindsets and the physicalities of the two different dimensions because they are almost opposites. in many ways, they are quite complementary to each other and oppositions. We want to say that while there is many things you will miss here, there's also many things you won't miss, which is the density, which is the disconnect, which is the disharmony. So enjoy mastering reconnections and unity and harmony in the 3D, because that is going to be very beneficial. There will be things that you will miss, but we're going to say this, and this may be shocking for many to hear, but when you're in the fifth, reflecting back on the third is not really going to be a big enjoyable experience because of that density. You can explore it more, but it is like reminding yourself of that time you had the root canal for a day. And we're not trying to depress people who are trying to find joy in having the root canal right now, but it is, just keep focusing on what you're having now. Keep finding the joy, keep finding the appreciations of connecting with others, reconnecting with people that you've written off because they're just too sleepy, because you love them, because you respect them, because you were once them, and allow yourself to see them grow. Because any distance you have, even a week of connection with someone, you know that you can profoundly change within an hour of your perceptions and mindsets, and to be able to apply them moving forward with every other thinking thought. So allow others the opportunity to have been having their own experiences to empower themselves. Don't keep assuming those people are small. Don't keep assuming that people haven't grown. Allow yourself to connect with them, expecting to meet a new person, and really be open to that. And if you're holding on to any hurts from past traumas and dramas that you had with them, heal yourself, forgive them, and move forward. Be the bigger person. It really has to be that simple. You really have to stop feeling frustrated and hurt, because you can see things from the bigger perspective. So allow connections again. And if it's not their time to connect, it is fine. You don't need to take it personally. They're still reacting. They're still reacting to their own hurts. And it's not personal. We did want to say something else, and now we have missed that. Please continue with your questions.
Okay. The final portion was about exit points. A few sessions ago, you discussed the new timeline with a split. I may be paraphrasing this wrong. A split between ready to go light workers and then light workers with some more work to do, but they will then merge again together right before the shift. And am I recalling that correctly?
Yes, there is some timelines that people are experiencing differently from each other, and there will be an exit point, where it will go and merge together for everyone to experience something simultaneously together from each perspective of their own belief and view of time.
Okay. Is this part of the, we're not going to spoil the ending of the movie part?
Well, it's just confusing because people can't understand what timelines they are in, and they panic. Oh my gosh, am I in the bad one? Have I been bad? Or am I good? And it confuses people. So we're saying what you're experiencing and noticing is the most appropriate for you to experience and notice, remembering that we are focusing on you to have the best experiences for your own growth that you have chosen and needed to have for this lifetime and for these events right now. And so just allow and trust. Focusing on what other people are going to experience is not probably for your best of service, for good for you, because that is going to distract you. And so accept you're on the right timelines, and that you're going to be experiencing the right things for you, you. And sometimes when you've listened to these sessions and you have applied and approached the information as if it is for you, and we want to say different locations, different timelines, different collectives, they all play into this. And so you're using your intuition, and you have got such a great connection with us by now, right? That you can ask us and feel into what's happening for you, trusting you, trusting us, because we've given you so much higher frequency energy just by listening to us through these sessions for all this time, that you're more intuitive and you get the answers. But some people waste this gift by doubting, and we say doubt is not your friend.
No, it's not. No, no, no. Yes, I understand what you're saying. Are there any final messages or thoughts that you would like to give us at this point in time?
When you are triggered and you go into fear and you suddenly are very much aware of your body, and you're starting to be very concerned about your body and the people that are around you, you are going to be in a more panicked state. And we are saying, when you resist and worry and focus on the body, that is going to distract you. And we're saying, allow and accept. Allow and accept that moment to come and go, because it is all going to be fine. When you start worrying, your body will react and your mind will react. And this is an opportunity for you to control and surrender, and knowing and trusting you are protected, trusting you are doing exactly what is going to be happening to you for you, and we are providing you the best experience that you want. We promise you no one's going to have it harder than they need to, unless you use your free will to freak yourself out. You can do that. That is fine. That wouldn't be our suggestion or advice to you, but you have the control of your mind to allow you to go either way, knowing what you know, knowing not what we have been telling you for all this time, surrendering and allowing and supporting those that are with you physically, allowing yourself to be the reassurance, allowing yourself to show that you are calm and that all is well. And I have your families with you, you have your people with you, you have your pets with you. Trusting, 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 trusting. And we know that we ask you to trust us a lot. And we know that this is scary for many. But that is because you're focusing on one small event. Think of the next step, and 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 the next step after that. That is what you need to be focusing on, those moments to get you through. Don't stop at the scary part. Allow yourself to be excited about the next steps. And we say, it is like the analogy that we use when you're giving birth and you have that last final push. And if you just focus on that last push and you don't push through, you could be giving birth forever. And we say, think of that child and that beautiful experience that the child's going to grow up with and have the joy. You know, don't focus on that one moment. Think of the full life that child's going to have. Think of your joy. Think of the experiences that you have mastered here and be proud of yourself. Let the last moments be with joy.
Another wonderful analogy. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here today.